Good day again. Welcome to another one of sharing my journey with you. You know, being in the industry for a pretty decent amount of time, I want to share, some of my experience. And so I want to share, today I want to share with you that I remember being in the industry, growing as a pastry cook, and really trying to get everything together. One of the things that I noticed is I learned very fast, and so I was able to help myself and manage tasks that is given unto me. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing, because sometimes the more you know, then the more you feel like you listen less to persons, and I feel like that was a pitfall for me. I remember at one point it's almost like nobody could say to me or correct me, because I thought that I know so much. I know it, and I used to keep go at it, and if I make a mistake, I will just redo or retry or I wanted to do it on my own. And I learned that it doesn't work like that all the time, or it doesn't need to be like that all the time. So when you learn something and you know something, it's always good to listen, because everybody knows something or brings something to the table. For example, if you're making you're making a cake, and there's one way to do it, you learn it one way. There could be other ways of doing it, or there is a right way of doing it, which is always the most important way to know it and learn it first, and then you can learn or adapt to other ways. It may be a way that can get it done more faster. The whole point I'm saying is that it doesn't matter what you know, right? It's still good to listen to somebody else, what they know, and hear from them. Right, and one of the things that I noticed in the pastry world and industry is like everybody wants to say that I am the best and I know it all, right? But we have to understand that we have to give credit and props where due, right? I've worked with a lot of chefs, I worked with a lot of persons, and I learned to recognize their talent and their gift. And I don't recognize it to the sense whereby I'm saying that okay, they can do this and I can do that, and it's really about recognizing that somebody else is talented. It's really about understanding that somebody else, they have a skill too, and they have something unique about them. I know chef, I know persons that I come across when it comes on to, for example, doing a cake. They're in a class by themselves when it comes on to chocolate work. When it comes on to some little things. So we have to be able to learn from each other. We have to be able to cheer each other on. We have to be able to appreciate somebody else's uniqueness, the unique talent that they bring on board. We have to be able to just endorse another person, because you have to understand that in an industry we are co-workers in the industry, and there are many times we can take up our phone and say, hey, this chef is really good at this. Let's reach out to the chef about this particular thing and item. And I don't see a lot of that most times, and it kind of put a damp to the pastry world and industry in Jamaica. And as a Jamaican, I would love to see like other chefs, pastry chefs, coming together, and really putting thought together and really trying to push the pastry world more and more, and that has been one of the things that I tried my best to do. I know chefs that reach out to me about multiple stuff, You know what I mean? And I never turn it down and say, oh no. I'm always, try to be there as much as possible. And so so that's a lesson that I learned, and that I hope that somebody will understand. Say it doesn't hurt to be humble enough to listen to somebody else, that what they are doing, and try to learn from somebody else, even if it's somebody that is at an entry level, right? Because they may have something to offer. Remember, that this world, it comes down to experience, it comes down to being gifted, it comes down to passion, it comes down to talent, it comes down to just, and there are some persons that are really passionate, they are really gifted, they are really talented, and those persons, all they need are just guidance, and so there are persons that will try to hold them down, wouldn't want to hear their voice on anything. For example, you're doing a cake and you're always been doing it one way, and this person come and create or figure out another way that would make it more effective, more better off, and give even a better result. But we don't pause to hear what they have to say, and sometimes that can be frustrating to the person that is innovative, right? Because their voices are not being heard. You know what I mean? And so I believe that if that was one thing that I really learned from an early age. It took me a while, but I remember one time I paused. I was in the workspace, and I paused and I said, you know what? I'm going to start listening more. I'm going to start hearing more. And so I realized that it doesn't hurt, and it doesn't take away from you. What it does is it just allow you to work more with your fellow co-workers and team members, and to create a stronger team or a stronger bond, and putting ideas together always work out better off. And so I paused and I tried to learn that, and it was a lesson for me. It was a pitfall not to be hearing, adapting, listening, and all of that, but it was a great lesson for me when I started to do such. And from that moment on, I decided that I'm going to be listening. But what I do is I analyze things when I listen. I try them as well and see the feedback, the reaction. But what I'm really trying to say is, you're not too big or too experienced to hear or learn from somebody, right? We are not too experienced or in it too long to hear or learn from somebody. You know what I mean? And sometimes the idea or the way that somebody have doing it may just be an innovative way. And we have to always remember that the culinary world, the pastry world, is always evolving. So when you are doing something, it may just be an innovative way of doing it. I remember when we just started out, for example, tempering chocolate, we never used to use a thermometer to do so, right? We used to just temper it, try to feel it, try to spread it on a piece of grease paper, and to say when it starts to set, and to see how it goes. But now I understand chocolate to the point where I know the temperature of the different chocolates, and try to understand the different fats in it, and the percentage of cocoa butter that is in the chocolate. So when working with chocolate now, I just go ahead by the temperature, right? And then based on the manufacturer as well, I know how far I can go with when tempering a chocolate. If it's a dark chocolate versus if it's a milk chocolate versus if it's white chocolate. So things innovate, and we have to be open to adapt and to innovate as well. And sometimes we may have to recreate ourselves. We may have to unlearn what we learn and start to learn something else. So my encouragement to you today is, Be trainable. Be open to adapt. Don't think that you know it all, and you can learn from even the youngest person, right? And try to involve others, and you will see how far that goes. And so until next time, continue to stay tuned, where I will continue to share my journey, what I learned, my experience, how I get here, some of the places I've worked, some of the people I've met, and just really some of the things that I've been doing. So until next time, see you and stay tuned.